Hey everyone, quick shout out to this week's sponsor, Altitude Sports. With the Canadian Track and Field Championships coming up soon, it's the perfect time to make sure your gear is ready. Whether you're training hard like the athletes or just getting outside to stay active, Altitude Sports has got you covered. They offer a huge selection of running shoes, clothes, and gear from top brands like Hoka, Salomon, and New Balance, all available online with fast delivery across Canada, plus same-day delivery if you're in Montreal. If something doesn't fit, no worries. Returns are super easy and you don't even need a printer. Just scan the QR code they send you. So, whether you want to be ready for the championships or just your next run, head over to Altitude Sports. Make sure to use the promo code Shakeout to save up to 20% on your first order. Conditions apply. All the details and the link are in the description below.
I know I'm naturally talented now because my coach has told me multiple times, but talent doesn't really take you as far as work ethic, right? And I'm very talented, I know that, and I'm extremely hardworking, probably one of the most annoying persons to coach because every time I do something, I want to know why I'm doing it, what's this for, constantly want to know information. I feel like just knowing more about your body, understanding the sport more, really makes you a better athlete. The more you get to understand technique and the technical aspects of your race and your event, you can understand where you are in time and space. And sprinting is one of those things where the more you understand where you are in time and space, the better you'll be at sprinting.
Jerome Blake's medal cabinet already includes Olympic gold, Olympic silver, and a world championship title as part of Canada's 4x100 relay team. Yet despite the team accolades, he still has plenty left on his hit list and is pushing hard to establish himself as one of the greatest individual sprinters this country has ever seen. This season, he seems well on his way to doing that, becoming just the 6th Canadian in history to eclipse the elusive 10-second barrier with a 9.97 clocking in Germany last month. Today, we catch up with Jerome in the lead-up to the Canadian National Championships in Ottawa, where he enters the 100-meter competition with the fastest season's best in the country. Stay tuned to hear about what led to his breakthrough, what it means to be Canada's fastest man this year, and why he believes he's just getting started. This is the Shakeout Podcast. Jerome, welcome to the show. So great to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Nice intro, by the way.
Hey, I appreciate it. You've earned every bit of that intro, and I'm excited to get into the details on how you came to earn it. But first things first, congratulations on being the newest member of the sub 10-second club. It's kind of a magical barrier. I think people outside of the sport even realize how special it is when they see that 9 point in front of a sprinter's time. It really does seem to separate great sprinters from true legends of the sport. What does it feel like to be a 9-second man?
Honestly, it hasn't really changed the way I view anything because, I mean, by no means I feel like this is where my peak is. And I think just the way the training has been, we weren't gearing up to run that fast. We were gearing up to just go out there and execute some good races because I just came back from injury. So we weren't expecting me to run that fast in a sense. I mean, we knew I could put down some good times, but we weren't expecting to go that fast at the time. So the minute that happened, we kind of backed off and like load back up and try to focus on just getting used to running rounds and putting myself in a tough situation, mentally and physically, because that's kind of what you're going to go through when you get to the championship. Championship running is very different than in season running. So I've been practicing that all year, and people see me running here, they're running here, running there, and everyone is like, what is this guy doing? And everyone's kind of confused with just the way I'm running. And I'm here today, I'm in the next competition the next day, and everyone's like, why are you flying all over and doing all this kind of stuff? But there's a method to the madness, and the plan is just to put myself in the fire as usual early, and get used to the running on heavy and tired legs as what you're going to feel at championships, trying to replicate that. So once we get to the championship, it's like normal.
Totally forged in the fire, and you certainly have been forged in the fire. I feel like even in the month and a little bit since you ran that 997 in Dessau, you've raced more times than I've been able to keep track of. I mean, even in the last week, I feel like there's been 2 or 3 great results. You add in international travel in the middle of that. So safe to say that the sub 10 clocking wasn't something you were expecting this early in the season, especially having had some injuries early on. And yet you've been kind of close, going back as far as April. You had some 10-0s. There was 4 10-0s and then some injury in there. you've been a 10-0-0 guy a couple
Yeah.
of times in past years.
Yeah.
What did it feel like to finally see a 9 pop up at the start? Was it a sense of relief at all to kind of get that monkey off your back?
Yeah, because it's one of those things where, as an athlete, you stand in your own way all the time. As much as everyone says like, "Oh, I'm so confident, I'm so macho," but you stand in your own way. If
Yeah.
an athlete says, "Oh, I'm not afraid," they're lying. They're just pretending. Everyone gets nervous. Everyone gets afraid because it's one of those things where like somebody's telling you like, "Okay, like the way you're training, I think you can do this." You believe it, but if you've never done something before, how are you going to tell yourself, I'm going to do it? it's
Yeah.
it's not that easy to actually tell yourself that you're going to do something that is sounds so elusive and sounds so far away. And by no means running 9 seconds is easy.
No.
Like it's like you have to set the race up from the gun to the end of the race. And I feel like I've been learning how to set the race up properly. Each race, the 100 and the 200 meters, just learn how to set the races up and just learn how to execute when it matters most, regardless of how I'm feeling or regardless of how travel was or regardless of how training has been, just trying to just focus on executing. If you execute properly, good results come from there.
It's part of being a pro, right? Is being able to kind of deliver within a pretty narrow threshold of performance on any given day. I mean, you raced across like half a dozen countries, hundreds,
Right.
200s. You threw in some
Yeah.
national team work with the relay, which we'll get into later.
Yeah.
And no bad performances throughout this whole stretch, which I think, given the frequency of the running that you've been doing, is impressive in and of itself. Do you think that part of the success comes from simply competing all the time because you have this journeyman approach where, I mean, you've got to get yourself up for a race all the time? Does that take any of the pressure away from any one particular race?
No, I mean the thing is like with regular meets and a championship, it's the same thing, but except the intensity goes up and the approach is a little bit different because championship running versus regular season running is very different.
Yeah.
So everything you're doing with sprinting. I mean, I'm not sure what it's like for distance running, but I know with sprinting, like every single race you do, you're working on something else leading into the championship. You're not just going out there to race, and that's what I've learned. The last couple of years, I've had to relearn a lot of things, and the last two years of me switching coaches and being with a new coach now is just learning that like every single race that you do is you're supposed to go a little bit faster every single race, but sometimes you're not going to go a little bit faster because 80% on Monday and 80% on Friday is a whole different 80%. So
Yeah.
just trying to understand that like Monday's feeling is going to be different than Friday's feeling. So, in a sense, like you try to put yourself in a situation where you're learning something, you're taking something positive from each day and just, don't paralyze yourself before you get past a certain point and just understand that like again, like Monday's 80% and Friday's 80% is different because you get to Friday and you're trying to do something that you did on Monday and you're trying to this is not 80% anymore. This feels different. So just
Yeah.
understanding that like it will all come together at the right time. So just being very focused on the end goal at the end of the day, which is the championship, and just having a jellyfish memory as I go.
Yeah, I love that jellyfish memory idea of just, take it race by race. Is
Yeah.
that something that's new this year? Like you talk about working with a new coach, you're working with Raina Ryder this year.
Yeah.
The results have been great. What's changed in terms of your mental approach to racing at such an elite level so often?
I think just the sheer belief that the coach has in me and the work that we did coming into the season. I what happened was like I know my fall training was so good, and this year like everything has been good all the way up until just before we actually when I got to World Relays. I think that's when things kind of got a little bit bad. I got hurt in China for World Relays, but leading up until then, man, like everything was so good. I was running very well, no injuries, thankfully leading all the way up until till World Relays. And I feel like that was more of a blessing in disguise because it kind of allowed my body to rest a bit. And I took that time to just kind of refocus and re-energize myself and come back again. And I realized my body just needed a break. So I feel like that's why that kind of happened. But, just speaking on the coach, I mean, I feel like the confidence the coach pushes into you by just putting you in the workouts that we do. And for me, like, they wanna the just understanding, like, you can't be afraid of the work. Just understand that it's gonna be hard, and track and field is self-inflicted, man. It's a volunteer service. You
Yeah.
don't have to really do the work, like, you can show up and do 50% of what is on the paper, but at the same time, like, it's self-inflicted. So if you want to be good, like, you have to hurt. So
Yeah.
just understand that, like, it's gonna hurt, but it's not gonna hurt for too long. But just understand that, like, this 30 minutes that you have the workout, just lock in on that, and whatever it is, just go for it. And that's kind of the mentality I have now, is just go for it. It is what it is. Like, the results will come if you put in the work, and I'm very confident in the work that we've done coming into the season. So now it's not even looking at what anyone else is doing, or what other or the rest of the guys are running, and even what I've run so far. It doesn't really matter. Like, I really don't even care about the times I've run. It looks good on paper, but for me, it's just, again, like, if I get to the championship and don't do what I want to do, I'm gonna feel some type of way. So for me, it's just, yeah, just focus on that, and just focus on the plan that me and the coach has.
Yeah, I love that you're so process oriented right now. We talked a little bit off air before we started about recognizing that it is a long season at the time that we're
Yeah.
recording. We've still got close to 2 months until the big dance in Tokyo.
All right.
How much has the coach's belief in you impacted your own belief in yourself now that you've run this time to back up what he was saying was possible for you? Has that changed your perspective going into those Tokyo World Championships? Are you looking at competitors differently? Are you looking at where you shake out in the pecking order differently at all? Or is this just a confirmation of what you already knew about yourself coming into the season?
I mean, based off what the coach has said, he said I should have run sub 10 last year.
Yeah.
So, for me, it's just, yeah, we're just going off what I've done this year, and just know that there's a lot more there. The way we've been training, as the numbers in training are looking, exceptional. And if what we're doing in training, we put it on the track and meet day, like, it's gonna be good. We can't really say a number because I'm not really sure, like, what it's gonna be, but I know it could be fast. So I just need to just focus on myself and just continue to work at it, and I know everything's gonna work out perfectly.
You talk about focusing on yourself, but I imagine there's got to be an element of gaining some confidence from racing against the best in the world. Just last week, you edged out Olympic 200 champ Letsile Tebogo in 100 meter in London.
Right.
What type of confidence does that give you to not only be running these great times, but also to be beating some big names? Or it's early in the season, as you've already rightly pointed out, but does it feel like you have some momentum carrying you through into these Canadian championships and beyond?
I feel like the racing against, like, really really fast and competitive people is very good for you mentally, but you can't really take too much away from preseason races. That's kind of how I see it. Like, you like, I've seen it, multiple people lose races throughout the year, and then go to the championships and win. So it's one of those things where, like, at the end of the day, like, the like, we call this the preseason as sprinters, or, like, preseason is just, yeah, you get races in and see where, like, you understand how to race against somebody, because you're taking information from racing against somebody at the end of the day. Like, you see where the person is when they start, because there's certain things that don't change. Like, mechanics don't really change over 2 months, like the type of mechanics that you run with. The only thing really changes, like, you get maybe a little bit stronger and a little bit faster. So that's kind of what really changes. So for me, it's just taking information from all the people I race against, and just understand where they are when they do certain things, and then I can combat that with my own skills, which is, I know what I'm good at. So if I do what I'm good at, I know I can combat what they have. So that's kind of how it is. It's just, just focus on your own execution, and when you execute properly, like, of course, you can, anything can happen in a day.
You talk about what you feel you're good at. What has stood out to you this year? What are some strengths that you're really proud of in the way that you've been running?
Honestly, like, I would definitely say my upright running has gotten a lot better. Like, I've been known to be, like, one of the best upright runners in the world. So for me, it's just getting a lot stronger in the weight room, and just getting a lot stronger running wise, which is, over distance stuff, and getting in longer runs that make you a lot stronger running wise. So for me, just getting more stronger and actually more technical. Now I feel like I'm a lot more technically sound, so I can run further, which is, now I can step back up to the 200, because I've only run 200s this year. And the first one was 20.4, and the second was 2010, and got the world championship standard after running two 100 meters in the same day. So it's
Yeah.
just one of those things where just understand that, like, getting more technically sound will make you go faster. So for me, it's just like that's part of the reason why we've been racing so much, is just trying to race ourselves into not even into shape, but race ourselves into like a competition state, in a sense. You can go out there and run, and you get used to the technical aspects of the type of sprinting that my coach wants.
Yeah, pushing your body to be a little bit
Yeah.
uncomfortable now so that when you're in that pressure cooker where you're running
Yeah.
heats and finals and add the relay in there as well, you're not
Yeah.
breaking down and you're just
Exactly.
comfortable given that max effort. I love that you've
Exactly.
touched on seeing yourself get better technically. And it reminds me of when I first met you, which for those listeners who maybe don't know this, goes back over a decade now. Jerome and I
Yeah.
both had the privilege, I'll say, of growing up in Kelowna and running for the Okanagan Athletics Club. And I still
Yeah.
remember watching you run at our home track, the Apple Bowl,
Yeah.
for the first time. You were barefoot, massive stride, probably overstriding if I had to give you a critique. And at that point, you were like a 400 guy. You were doing some horizontal jumps, long jump.
Yeah.
And even though there was definitely a lot of technical stuff that you would probably admit needed cleaning up, and you've continued to clean up, the talent was obvious to everyone
Yeah.
watching. I mean, it was enough that the coach walked over to you afterwards and was like, "Hey, you should really join our club."
Yeah.
And we fast forward now, you've got a medal case that includes Olympic and World Championship gold. What point did you realize that that talent existed in you? Was that something that you've always known, or was there a moment that you can look back on and say, "Oh, I could actually be world class at this"?
Honestly, that's not a thing, because I sometimes I don't even believe how talented I am, because I will do something on my coach. Even today, like we had a workout and I did it, and my coach, okay, you get tomorrow off because like you exceed what they think you could do in a workout, and it's like kind of weird because it's it's not normal to do something like
Yeah.
that. So it's like you do it, and they look, and it's like, this is the most incredible thing I've seen from an athlete like that he's
Wow.
coached. So it's one of those things where, I know I'm naturally talented now because my coach has told me multiple times.
Yeah.
But talent doesn't really take you as far as work ethic, right? And
Yeah.
I'm very talented, I know that, and I'm extremely hard working, probably one of the most annoying persons to coach, because every time I do something, I want to know why I'm doing it, what's this for, and it's, like constantly want to know information. So everyone says you ask too much questions, you want too much information, which sometimes it can be good or bad. But for me, I feel like just knowing more about your body, understanding the sport more, really makes you a better athlete, because I feel like the more you get to understand technique and the technical aspects of your race and your event, you can understand where you are in time and space. And sprinting is one of those things where the more you understand where you are in time and space, the better you'll be at sprinting.
It's that age old saying where hard work beats talent unless talent is willing to work hard. And
Yeah.
I mean, at the level you're competing at, everybody's talented, right?
Yep.
Every single
That is
person
true.
on that line was the fastest kid at their elementary school, the fastest person
Yeah.
in their state, the fastest person in their province or their country, and you just go on and on. And now you're competing with guys who are coming into this with the mindset that I'm the most talented athlete on the face of the planet, and the differentiating factor has to be that hard work. Talking about talent, you've stated fairly publicly that you believe yourself capable of running the Canadian record in the 100 meter. It's 984, Donovan Bailey's
Right.
mark. What do you think right now is the gap that you need to close in order to make that happen? We've talked about the talent. That's kind of a given. What type of work do you think you need to keep pushing into in order to get yourself there?
I think at that point it's just about belief. I mean, at that point it's like trusting and believing that you can do it without doing it. And that's kind of what I said like earlier, when it comes to like your coach telling you can do something and you having to believe it. Now that I've gone sub 10, now I understand what it takes to get there. And in a race where everyone's around you is moving fast, it's gonna force you to, if it's a fast race, it forces you to go, and a good day with good people, good wind, good track. I think it's possible. I mean, now I believe I can do it, and I feel like I have the talent, and the way training has been this this last couple of weeks, hey, it's possible. I know for a fact it's possible. So for me, for the people who don't really understand the technical aspects of sprinting, but like in a sense, like a flying 30. Basically,
Yeah.
you can use a flying 30 to understand like where you are in terms of like foot speed and ground contact and strength and cover and distance. So in a sense, like we had a shakedown test today, kind of just like a workout at the end of the week because we go off 3 day cycles now instead of like a 3 week cycle. So at the end of
Right.
a three day cycle, after like lifting heavy, bunch of accelerations, running fast, we had 3 runs today, basically just like all flies. So
Okay.
in a sense, like you build in flying 40, but you take the flying 30 out of it. So in a sense, you want to be like somewhere between 270, 271 to 260. If you can get to 270, that's great. If you can get to 260, that's great.
Yeah.
Like for me, all three of them, 268, 265, 264.
Wow. Holy
Yeah,
smokes. So
yeah. And it's a flying third.
yeah, the foot speed is there right now.
Yeah.
How much confidence do you gain from that heading into these national championships? This is the first time where you enter the Canadian Championships as Canada's fastest man. You're the only guy who's gone under 10 seconds this year.
Right.
First of all, what does it sound like to you to hear Jerome Blake, Canada's fastest man?
It's cool, but for me, it doesn't really mean anything because I mean, it's like I love my teammates that I compete with in Canada, and I have the most respect for them. But at the end of the day, like I feel like it's one of those things. I'm not trying to compete with them. For me, it's just going to trials and make the team, and then focus on the World Championships. That's pretty much what it is at this minute. Just top three, go from there, and top three in the 200, go from there. Like it's great. Like it's cool, like being the fastest person on paper. But if you don't go out there and do anything with it, it doesn't really matter. But for me, it's just focus on the championship. Honestly, that's kind of where I'm at now because I have NACAX and I have Canadian trials and then the World Championship. So those are my last 3 competitions for the year, and then we'll see how it shakes out. So for me, it's just kind of focus on making the team, and then from there we go. I mean, who knows? Shoot, at this minute I might only run one event at trials. I'm not even sure yet, but
Yeah.
kind of just resting. I mean, I've already raced so much this year, so we've already dialed the technical aspects of where we need to be. So now it's kind of just ironing out things and just focus on high level execution, high level competition reps, which will be just getting as much competition as we can in one day or like over 2 days. And the only meets that we can get that is NACAX and Canadian trials before the Worlds. So that's kind of it.
And those Canadian trials, you talk about competition reps. How important is it to be establishing yourself at the trials as the guy to beat going into those world championships? How are you looking to refine your tactics or refine your kind of mindset for the big dance at Worlds using the Canadian Championships as that prep meet? What are some of the things that are going through your head when you think about mindset heading into the rounds and dealing with heats and finals and trying to execute on the day, but also look ahead to another 6 weeks down the line for Worlds and making sure you still have something left in the tank?
Yeah, and that's why I said it's just one race at a time, one round at a time, and just execute at a high level and just do enough. Just make sure just do enough to qualify for the team. So that's the reason why we're not trying to put any times and put pressure on myself. Just go out there and execute, make the team. That's the most important thing.
You talk a bit about the respect and admiration you have for the main guys that you're going to be competing against. Those guys are, by and large, the same people that you're going to be spending a lot of time on the relay team with, that you have spent a lot of time in the relay team with over the past 4 or 5 seasons. How much can take us inside a little bit of how you push one another to be the best individual athletes and how that translates back into the relay?
Okay, so like I'm gonna say something here. This is it's a running joke between all of us, and I feel like most of the guys kind of have the same mentality, even if they don't say it. But if we go to a meet right now, and it's 8 people on the start line, right? And it's me and like Aaron, and or me and like Andre or Brandon or Malachi or one of those guys. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
who it is. We go to this meet. If it's 8 people in the line, and I don't win, I'm trying to do anything to make sure Aaron doesn't win. That's kind of
Yeah.
how it is. If I finish 7th, better finish 8th. So that's kind of how it is. Like it's a very weird competition we have with each other, and it's very intense. But at the same time, we have a really good relationship. All of us, like it's like a brotherhood. So we're actually all friends. So that's
Yeah.
the thing. Like we all talk to each other. We know like everyone. I know almost pretty much everything about the main four guys that I run, and then the rest of the guys, some of them I know a little bit about them because they're all new, but like the other guys I spent years with them, so we know a lot about each other. So it's a brotherhood. So we're all friends, and it feels like a family now. So whenever we go to the track, it's kind of like, I'm pointing like, hey, just so you know, I'm ready, and it's kind of like we're oh, they're joking. So it's more of like a real connection. So it's
Yeah.
easier because you've been working with the same person for a little bit, so you understand, if they when they move, like if they don't move the typical way, you understand, okay, like I have to adjust. So it's those type things, like you see different things, so you understand how to react to the person.
So seeing them as teammates probably also allows you, and it cuts both ways, I suppose, but it allows you to know how to beat them as well as how to work with them in the relay, and that's a dangerous skill because if you can recognize that in a guy like Andre or Aaron or Brendan, chances are they're recognizing it in you as well. And
They
I
know.
love the
They
kind of I love the duality of
they
that
know,
where
and it's a funny thing because like if you watch most of the stuff, like they'll like talk about how we all are. Everyone's like, oh, Jerome's a head case. He go crazy and everything's don't go the way it's supposed to. Which I mean, I tend to do get mad. So if we go to the track and we're going through the rounds and we don't do what we're supposed to do, I'm the first one to start yelling at everybody.
yeah.
So there was like, calm down, man. It's okay. We made the finals. No, I don't care. I want to win. So it's like, but sometimes I feel like it's like that. One person will always just like goes crazy. Brendan is the one who's always gonna get everybody hyped and excited, ready to
Yeah.
go. Aaron's gonna always have a motivational speech, and Andre's gonna be like, "Hey, man, we're
Yeah.
ready, whatever." So that's kind
Yeah,
of how it
just
is.
get the
So
stick to
yeah,
me.
yeah,
You talked a little bit about eight guys lining up. The image that comes to mind is that national championship 100-meter start line. It's often been said that there's nowhere more kind of emotionally charged, or I'll say even like testosterone charged, than
uh-huh.
like a call room for a men's 100-meter final. What's it like being in that position? It's going to be stressful regardless. Like we talked about earlier, everybody in your event believes in their talent. What's
Right.
it like knowing that there's that added pressure of the relay selection going into a meet like the Canadian Championships, where every single guy in that 100-meter final is also in the back of their mind hoping that their performance is going to, one, get them on the team individually, but also make a really strong case that they belong on the track as part of the relay pool. What do you do to get your head in the right space in that type of pressure cooker environment?
I mean, the last couple of years, in a sense, like I would kind of just go through the motions, just go out there and just run, and like, okay, just go run. But now the last 2 years we've been working on different things, just understand that like where I need to be in mentally in a mental space going into like a call room for finals and stuff. And again, that's the reason why we've spent the last couple months, like last year and this year, just doing random things in terms of competing, like putting yourself in a situation mentally so you're uncomfortable. So being in an uncomfortable position, whenever you're in one, you understand how to deal with being in an uncomfortable position. And also like just racing a bunch kind of like puts you in a position where you've been in the call room so many times, so it almost becomes normal. But at the same time, I think the thing is like with the relay selections, it's kind of hard to really say how they do it because you have the four people who won an Olympic gold medal still competing,
Yeah.
and then you have the rest of the guys there who are running very fast. Eli, Dwayne, Malachi, and Eli, and there's more that I'm maybe missing their names. I apologize, but I mean there's a lot of people, and the thing is like what they've done a really good job of is like keeping the development program there. So even if you don't get to run on like with the four guys who have done like what we've done at the Olympics, but you have the next four guys who are coming up. You have your own team with them, so that's what they've done a pretty good job of. And even if you don't get selected for the team, there's still an opportunity for you to go, as one of the persons who they'll put in case anything goes wrong. And with the experience that you guys have, I feel like it's a plug and play type situation. And we all go to training camps and we all go to competitions all over the world. So all of them are in the program and they all get opportunities. And I think it's one of those things where they're all comfortable and understand that like, okay, if I finish here, then I get to go. So it's like it's a different level of mindset. I think everyone just wants to win at that point. Like anyone that lines up on on the day just want to win. And I
Yeah.
think that's the thing. For me, it's like Yeah, again, it's not even about going there to like, prove a point. I have no point to prove. For me, it's just more or less just make the team. That's kind of my mindset. Just make the team, go from there.
Yeah, just focusing on the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
And if everybody does that, then chances are the team is going to be the best version of itself as well.
Yeah,
I'd love
for
to
sure.
spend some time pulling back the curtain a little bit, as much as you're allowed to share as reigning Olympic champs. There's probably some trade secrets that you don't want to give up. But for some of our listeners who aren't familiar with how Athletics Canada has gone about putting together these world beating relay teams,
Right.
take us inside kind of some of the strategy, both in terms of team selection, but also in terms of how you guys have developed this cohesive mindset that stands out in such kind of sharp relief to some of your main competitors. I mean, the first one that comes to mind, the obvious one, is the United States, who you've had their number more often than not the last several seasons. What is it about both the individuals in that group, but also just the culture that the Canadian team has created that's allowed you to continue repeating at such a high level with success?
With the relay program, it's a whole program, right? That lives by its own. There's certain things, there's certain criteria that you have to fulfill throughout the year. Like we have training camps, and those are mandatory. Some of them, there's like two or three, depending on the level that you compete at. But you start from very young, which is really cool. So there's a development camp where you go and you do, of course, like we have like relay camps, and the development camps. Basically, what they are is to help the younger athletes who are coming in understand how they run the relay program and what are the things they look for being a part of the relay program. So from me joining the relay program, I joined in 2018,
Yeah.
but I never ran international until 2021 at the Olympics. I went to the World Championships in 2019. I was there. I practiced every single day, every single leg, first leg, second leg, third leg, anchor leg, all of it. I was so confident I was going to go on the track. The day I was warming up and everyone was there, and Glenn Wright came and tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Hey, it's not your time yet, man. Like, your time will come." And I put my bag
Yeah.
on,
Wow.
like I start sobbing, like, and I'm there just laying on the ground and watch them run. I'm like, man, I'm mad as hell. But I think it's one of those things where at the end of the day, like I feel he was right, like what
Yeah.
the time wasn't right yet. So I think that's the thing that I've understood, that like he's been there so much and understand how this program should look and how it should work. And and our country is one of those countries that really love team events.
Yeah.
Anything that involves a team, Canada's a big fan. So for us, like our relay team is such a it's a country's team now. It's
Totally.
Canada's team, so that's kind of what it is. And they really buy into the program and buy into our relay team. And for us, just the passion and the heart that we put into this team is impressive. So I know once we are all gone, I think the same energy and mindset and focus that we put into it, I think the rest of everybody else who's coming in, they're seeing the energy and the work ethic that we're putting into like the training, the handoffs, the the video sessions, and then all the
Yeah.
information that we have regarding the relay, and how focused we are when it comes to that. I think it's one of those things where everyone gets excited about it. And then the thing is, like, a lot of people have this stigma when it comes to relay races and relay running, right? Everyone, you see it all the time. Everyone's like, "Oh, you're a relay medal. It's not the same as an individual medal." Okay, great. It's not the same as an individual medal. Yeah, guarantee. Okay, you go out there, you win that medal by yourself. But at the same time, I feel like doing something like that with a team, like winning an Olympic gold medal with four people, passing a little metal thing around the track, like, but that's not attached to your arm by no means.
Yeah.
You have to hand this off to somebody else, and they have to. It takes a lot of gut and a lot of work to
Oh,
go into
yeah.
that, and the teamwork and the camaraderie that you need to do that. That I feel like that is more impressive than winning an Olympic gold medal by yourself sometimes.
Yeah.
Unless you do it
100%.
in like dominating fashion like a Usain Bolt, it sometimes I don't want that's not a hot take on my part, but I'm just saying it's one. So I feel like doing that as a team sometimes can be more beneficial for you, because at the end of the day, like, it's more camaraderie involved with it.
Yeah. I mean, you multiply everything that goes into an individual performance. Let's
Yeah.
take Noah Lyle's 100-meter victory last year at the Olympics. You have to be that level of on, and then you have to multiply it not just by the four guys on the track, but by the 4 exchanges as well. So now you've got an 8-time multiplier, and then you
Right.
multiply that by all of the guys who maybe competed in the rounds, and now you've got extra bodies in there that contributed. And I think
Yep.
there's absolutely a case to be made, hot take or not.
Yeah.
Those relay medals mean just as much, and especially like
Of
you point
course.
out, to Canada they mean even more, maybe because
Yeah.
we love the team element of
Yeah.
it. And you have been such a team player going back so far. I remember even watching you carry the stick for high school teams, for Western Canada Summer Games teams, 4x1, 4x4, didn't matter. It was,
Yep.
if we put the stick in Jerome's hand, he'll take us to the promised land. Have you found, now that you're running these world-class individual times, how have you balanced that with the need to be the best teammate that you can be going into championships? You raced already this year as part of the 4x1 at the World Relay Championships, and it cost you a bit of an injury. And how do you manage those things where what's best for Jerome the individual may not necessarily always be what's best for Jerome the member of Canada's 4x1 team? How do you balance those two things? Do they help one another? Do you find that one comes at the cost of the other at all?
No, because at the end of the day, I feel like my position when it comes to the relay team is always going to be the same. I'm a part of that team, and that's just what it is. Like when it comes to the relay, everyone like the mindset, like what that you have for your individual events, cool, great. But when it comes to the relay, we all just buy into the program and buy into the team. It's a team event, it's a team sport at that minute. So we know that we all have to buy in because this is an opportunity for the guy, like everyone, to leave with a medal or leave with some form of glory. But it's not, at that point it's no longer the individual, like it's 4 people on the track, and it's 4 of us out here running for the same goal. And if you look at it, it's not just the 4 guys, because you have the rest of the guys who help get us there, which is the guys who aren't on the track, plus the coaching staff, the therapist, all the bus driver, everyone, like everyone who is a part of what we're doing. They all support us. So for us, we're out there running for more than just ourselves. Man, putting on the red and white and being out there a part of that relay team, it is it's almost worse than running individually, because it's almost like they don't care. They
Yeah.
just Canada's. I mean, I'm not. Our country loves what you do individually, great, but when it comes to that relay team, people will claw and fight and everything
Yeah.
for it. They love the relay, and we all love the relay. I feel like relays is one of those events, in the sense, if you really look at it, at the Olympics, the 2 most watched days of the Olympics is the day the 4x1 finals are, and the day the 4x4 finals, and
Yeah.
the 100 meters. That's
Yeah.
it. Like those are the days where everyone's tuned in, because they want to see who's gonna win the relays, because it's such an impressive event to watch. Honestly,
Yeah.
just
Oh
see
my
how
God.
fast people are running and doing all. It is truly, really, truly impressive.
Yeah. It just, the poetry almost of getting that stick around so quick. And I mean, Canada's developed a reputation of just being technically almost perfect, and
Yeah.
it's really netted out in some big ways. I love that you talk about people tuning in Canada to watch the team, and we do love the idea of team. And I think, like you say, in some ways it probably is more pressure, because you're no longer just the individual that they're tuning in. You're now carrying the entire
The country.
country on your
Yep.
shoulders. They're thinking of you not as Jerome Blake, the 100-meter runner. They're thinking of you as Team Canada 4x100 meter, which just
Yep.
encompasses so much more than any one individual, any one sport even. It really is, for those 37 seconds, let's call it, the entire weight of the nation piled into 4
Right.
guys. But at the end of the day, you are 4 individuals. And I want to spend some time to maybe delve into what Jerome off the track is like. How do you balance the pressures and the demands of, bearing the weight of a nation athletically with being a regular guy? I think there's a privilege that I have of having known you long enough to know, like, at the end of the day, Jerome's a normal guy. He puts his pants on one leg at a time like the rest of us. And
Yeah.
you've done a really good job of making yourself more than just an athlete. You've had a successful modeling and acting career already. You've been involved in some mentorship initiatives. Have those all been an intentional move on your part to, I don't want to say dissociate from track and field, but to create a bigger narrative for yourself than simply one that's totally performance derived?
The thing is, with sports, a lot of people, their personality is what they do.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. A lot of people say I don't love track because of the way I do things. Like I'm not the person who's just gonna be live, breathe the track and field every single day. I can't do that. It's almost like I love what I do so much and I care so much about what I do. Like my heart is 100% in this sport. So I
Hmm.
know how I feel when it comes to competing and training and track and everything. But for me, my personality is not the sport. And I
Yeah.
understand that because for me, I choose to do other things, modeling, acting, as you mentioned, because it takes my mind away from what I need to what's important. Because you can't be 100% sports every single day. You'll be mentally burnt out by the time
Yeah.
the championship rolls around, and that's kind of been the issue for me before, where I've been so locked in and so focused on what I need to do for months, and as you go, like it slowly eats away at you and you can't keep doing that. So for me, it's just doing things that takes me away from the sport is the best thing for me. So just doing modeling, acting, those type stuff, and of course, like giving back is naturally a thing that I genuinely love doing, because growing up, as you know, like Pat's been in my corner since day one. Like she's
Yeah,
always
that's
been there
Pat
for me.
Simaletting,
Yeah,
our old head coach at Okanagan Athletics Club.
regardless of what it is, she's always been there for me. Her family's been there for me, and for me, it's I. And growing up, I told her, like, if I ever make it big, man, I'm gonna do all this stuff for you. She said, "Don't worry about doing anything for me. All I want you to do is give back to somebody else, help somebody else."
Yeah, pay it
So for me
forward.
now, it's like, yeah, my thing now is giving back to my community in whatever way I can. So whenever I come home, I go to training with the track club. If the kids want anything, I all the knowledge, all the if Pat asks me to do something with the club, I'm there. If I'm
Yeah.
home, I'm there. So it's one of those things where, like, for me, it's like giving back is a way I know how to, help the next generation, because at the end of the day, growing up, like, we never really get to meet professional athletes like that. Like, you see them on
No.
TV and they almost seem like a mythical figure. Like, you only see them on TV, and you see them every once in a while. And for me, like, I'm at home. I'm just walking around, just
Yeah.
hanging out. But I haven't changed at all. I mean, I just got a little bit taller and a little bit bigger and a little bit faster. That's pretty much it. But other than that, like I'm the same person. Like I kind of do the same thing, got the same friends. Yeah, the only thing I don't do is, like, I just don't really put myself in situations get in trouble anymore. So yeah.
Too locked in on the big goals right now. But
Yeah.
I love that you talk about how being so locked in can actually come as a detriment, and
Yeah.
finding these other outlets has given you the space to bring the best version of yourself to the track, so that when you walk through those gates at a championship, you are 100% locked in, because you've had those outlets in other areas of your life where you can decompress, where you can find something else to stimulate you. I think any athlete who's competed at a high level knows that there's only so much thinking you can do about your sport before it becomes negative impact on performance. If you're just
Right.
constantly rolling over things in your head, that's good to a point, but at some point you need to say, okay, I've done the work. Now I need to
Yeah.
just let myself chill. I also love that you bring up the approachability aspect. You're very right in saying most people, they don't get the opportunity to interact with their superstars when they're growing up, and you have made yourself so accessible. You
Right.
talk about being back in the community, back in Kelowna with the youth track club. When it's all said and done, when you hang them up one day, what type of things do you hope that you'll be remembered for during your time as an athlete? What type of legacy do you hope to leave?
I mean, hopefully, when that time comes and I do that, I think, I would love for it to be that Jerome was true to himself, because I don't believe in changing who you are to make people like you, or changing who you are to put yourself in a better financial situation. For me, it's just like, it is what it is. What you see is what you get. I'm not going to change my personality because I know who I am. And that's the thing. Like, I know who I am, and I understand who I am as a person. So it's not hard for me to be likable or approachable.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't really need to change who I am to make people like me, and it's good to just understand that, like, um you're a person first, right? Because at the end of the day, when when you're on top of the mountain, how you treat people when you're up there is gonna reflect when you're at the bottom of the mountain, because we already know all mountains have peaks and all mountains got valleys. So
Yeah.
you're gonna be on top of the peak one day, you're gonna be back in the valley soon enough. So for me, is I understand that, like, once I'm on my way up and once I get to the peak of what I'm doing, I've been treating everyone the same way, trying to do the same things, keep the same friends, because I know those are the people that's going to be there for me when I'm back in the valley and, doing
Yeah.
the things I really want to do.
Pausing for a moment on those mountaintop moments, I think fair to say you've had your fair share of them, and hopefully moving forward, many more mountaintop moments. What are some of those peaks so far? When you look back on your career up to this point, what stands out to you as something that you're most proud of? And maybe transition question after that, what's the next big goal?
I would say the most impressive and truly thing to me that I've done so far, I feel like, is making it to the Olympics. Because that was never a thought of mine, especially making it to two and leaving with
Yeah.
medals every time. So for me, that is the most impressive thing I've ever done. Because I remember as a kid, I would always watch and try to figure out how do you even get to the Olympics. But making it to two, leaving with two medals at that is, for me, that means more than anything. And then now the goals are just keep believing in myself, keep fighting for better and just keep chasing good performances, good times, and hopefully go to the championships and do cool things. I don't know what cool things is yet. I'm slowly figuring it out, but hopefully it's cool enough.
Figuring it out as we go along. Well, we
Yeah.
look forward to watching at least a couple of very cool things this week at the Canadian National Championships. Jerome, thanks so much for taking the time to spend with us today, share some of your story. We wish you the very best of luck this coming week in Ottawa, and also onwards to NACAX in the Bahamas and eventually those World Championships. I know that the entire country, for better or for worse, we're all rooting for you as part of that red and white Maple Leaf team, and we know that you're going to carry the colors very well. So thanks for the time, and all the best with the rest of the story as it unfolds.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks again to Jerome for taking the time to catch up with us in the lead up to the Canadian Track and Field Championships in Ottawa, where he'll be searching for his first national titles over the 100-meter and 200-meter distances. The men's 100-meter semifinal and finals run this Friday, August 1st. So make sure to follow Jerome at _Jerome Blake on Instagram so you don't miss the action. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and X at Shakeout Podcast. Don't forget to hit subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts to make sure you catch all the great conversations from the world of running coming your way. If you're loving the Shakeout, make sure to leave us a rating and a review. Till next time, I'm your host, John Gay, saying thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you soon for your next Shakeout.